Okay, guys. Hey, sorry that I missed class this morning. As some of you might know, my son spiked a fever this morning at 4 a.m., so we couldn't send him to preschool, and so I got cuddles on the couch with him this morning. So anyways, I'm here now. I'm going to try to give you a really, really quick version of some things that I wanted to cover in class. And then I'm going to go ahead and send out an assignment that I want you guys to do to make up some of the class time for this morning. So it might be rough because I'm trying to rush through a little bit. So, and I'm going to be reading my notes while I'm videotaping, so that's why I'm looking over here. But one thing I wanted you guys to get the concept of in today's class is that perfection is imperfect. In parenting and personhood, we're not striving for perfection, so I want us to make sure that that we keep that in mind as we keep studying today and in the next couple of classes. So remember that my hope and goal for you in this course is that you understand the vastness of human development and to understand yourself further, because knowing yourself further, then you're able to further help others. We'll go over a couple of the questions that you guys had from last class, and I'll go over those in a little bit, but first let me get some key concepts down for you guys. If any of you guys, actually before we go into that, let me talk about the childhood project for a second. If any of you guys have any questions about the childhood project, please email me, let me know. We need to start getting the ball rolling for that as it's coming up soon. But basically you're going to be doing an observation of a child with or without the parent. And then you're going to be doing an interview of the parent. You need to make sure to hit all of those things listed on the syllabus, and please use notes from any of our lectures, from any of the class discussions, from any of the books. Look to the file that's posted on Moodle for child development as far as markers that should be met at certain age periods. And so if you're going to be interviewing a 2-year-old, make sure to look at what should that 2-year-old have accomplished or be accomplishing at that time to make sure that they're hitting normal child development. Remember in this assignment, you're looking for normal child development, and you're going to be noting when things are not normal. And let's see, if you're someone who likes to have more structure to it, you're welcome to give me like an interview question sheet or a list of things you're going to be looking for in that child to see if you're hitting the right marks and all of that. You're welcome to give that to me ahead of time, and I'd be happy to review things for you guys. But I'm not giving you anything specific to fill out or anything like that, because I've given you quite a bit online as far as the child development spreadsheet and the attachment lecture. So let me know if you have any further questions, and we'll go from there. I want to make sure to highlight that the early childhood years, according to Balswick, are called the play years, and he talks about early childhood as far as 3 to 7 years old. Piaget, though, talks about those years as 2 to 7 and labels them as pre-operational. And the children are defined from his standards as they do not have the ability to step back from their immediate perceptions. So that's concrete operation children are defined by what they, are defined by what they have and their ability to reason and use logic. So know those differences in the two. Erickson, in this stage, his timeline again is 3 through 6. Everyone's a little bit different. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of our field. And his stage is initiative versus guilt. And he defines it as being able to test the abilities of the wider world. So, and Freud goes, his ages are 3 to 6 years old, and that's the phallic stage. So make sure to know those different age ranges and different concepts for the different theorists. If you have any questions about what we're studying so far, or you're confused about concepts, make sure to let me know by email or calling me or setting up a time to come in and talk, because as we keep going, it's going to keep building and building. I want to make sure you guys know these concepts. So let's go ahead and skip to a couple different key words that I want you guys to know, and then you're going to do an assignment with those. So remember, when it comes to memory, know the difference between explicit and implicit memory. So implicit memory is 0 to 2. It's the memory that is sensory based, meaning in our body. So it's the memory that we don't have any concrete picture of. Like when you and I think of memories, we don't have that concrete picture. We don't have necessarily words or phrases or anything like that. But what we do have during those 0 to 2 years is we have sensory memories. We have memories that are stored in our body. Remember, emotion is sensation comes before emotion. And that emotion is stored somewhere physically in our bodies. So when you feel sad, you feel something in your body. When you feel scared, you might feel like a knife in your stomach. That sensory memory that's getting stored within your body. So when we talk implicit memory, no, children 0 to 2 are not going to have memories like you and I have, but they might all of a sudden start having bizarre behavior when they smell something, or when they hear a sound, or when they touch something that triggers them to a trauma they experienced in those 0 to 2 years. This kind of also explains why some kids who are adopted have birthday trauma, so they will have some sort of acting out experience around the time that they were either adopted or their birthday. It's an implicit sensory memory. When our memories start to get explicit is when around the age of 2 to 3 we start to have explicit memories, and that's when we start to have picture or concrete words, thoughts, and as we get older, when we get more into the elementary years, then 5 and on, then our memory starts getting more like a story. Whereas in between 2, 3, and 5, when we do have the ability to have explicit memory, our memory is still in the concept of like flashes. Like you'll get like little glimpses of a memory, but not a continuous story. That's because it's really a memory of someone who's pre-verbal. Even though a 2 or 3-year-old can talk, a 5-year-old can talk, they're still pre-verbal in their thought process. They're still in that, they're not in their concrete thinking is a better way to put it. So remember to know the difference between memory and implicit and explicit memory as far as play years, preschool, toddler years versus school years, where episodic memory is in great detail. Another 2 things to know is the difference in terms of episodic versus procedural memory. So episodic memory is developed in the school years, and children can recall it in great detail. Procedural memory does improve. It's being able to repeat and sequence. It's basically the ability to learn. So know the difference between procedural and episodic memory. Another way to put episodic and procedural memory together would be the idea that procedural memory is what we do when we're doing math. We're learning pre-algebra, then algebra, then geometry, and go on and go on, versus episodic memory is the story of my 16th birthday party and what happened at that birthday. Remember that peers become more important and crucial part of development in the school years. So let me go over a couple different terms that I want you guys to know.